Hey everyone, I'm Matthew Dale, and today we're going to talk about triads on the guitar, and I'm going to give you the best exercise possible to really learn your triads on the guitar. Now, oftentimes in my lessons, every time I mention triads, it seems like my students' eyes kind of glaze over and they lose focus a little bit, but triads are really an untapped resource to really get to know your instrument a lot better. Now, let's talk about why learning triads might be a good idea math-wise, right? A lot of us try to learn the fretboard of our guitar by first maybe learning pentatonic scales, which have 5 notes, and we see that represented in 5 different positions on a guitar. And then we might move on to major and minor scales and modes, which have 7 notes and about 7 positions. 7 good ones, anyway. Triads are actually less information to deal with. 3 notes and 3 inversions up the guitar. So why would we try to focus on 5 notes and 7 notes first when we can just learn 3 and then build up from there? Now, who am I to say this is important or not? I'm just some guy on the internet with a guitar, right? But let's take a look at some key examples from some great players that have used triads in the past on some great recordings. First, let's take a look at the musical styles of, say, funk, ska, reggae, people that use these little triad chords as hits. So that's a little excerpt from Say It Ain't So by Weezer, all little tiny 3-note triad chord shapes. Now that might be typically what we think of when we think triads, but here's another couple examples that you might not know about. Let's take a look at David Gilmour, the Comfortably Numb solo. 2 triads right there. Try it again. Some scale stuff. Triad. That solo is a lot of triads, and it's a great solo to learn some more about triads on the guitar. How about this one, Randy Rhoads? The rhythm part to Crazy Train is a lot of triads. An A triad, an E triad, a D triad, same shape as the E triad, and then another shape of the A triad. So triads are used all over the place in all styles of music. They are an essential building block of music, and it's essential that you know them as a guitar player. Now, before we dive into this exercise that is going to help you immensely, you might already know more about triads than you think. If you know your D and your D minor shapes on the guitar, and if you know your bar chords like major off of the E string, minor off of the E string, and major and minor off of the A string, you know all that there is to know about triads on the E, G, and B and D, G, and B string sets. If we eliminate the open strings on a D chord, that's a second inversion triad, and the same with its minor counterpart. Let's take a look at the E string root. We have 3 triad shapes in here. 3, 3, and 4 is a first inversion triad, and then we have a root position triad on the next string set, B, G, and D, and then a second inversion triad on G, D, and A. And then 2 triad shapes on the A string root. So we have the 10, 12, and 12. That's a root position triad, which means it has the root in the lowest part of the chord. We have another second inversion triad up here. Let's take a look at those minor counterparts. 3's all the way across, 5, 3, and 3, 5, 5, and 3, and then minor up here, 12, 11, and 10. 12, 12, 10 on D, G, and B. And that's it for that one. Now, here's the exercise that we're going to do. We are going to ascend a major scale in chords, harmonized in triads. So that would be major 1 chord, minor 2 chord, minor 3 chord, major 4 chord, major 5 chord, minor 6 chord, diminished 7 chord. Those are our diatonic triads. And while we ascend the scale, we're going to descend the neck. So try to wrap your head around that. We're going to go down on the neck as our scale notes are going up, or our scale chords are going up. So it's going to look something like this. You can follow the tab along. So I'm going to start up here on this high C chord. It's going to start in second inversion, so that's going to look like my D chord shape from down here. And I'm on the 12th, 13th, and 12th fret, little C chord up here. Now I'm going to descend the neck as I ascend my scale chords. When I get down here, I'm just going to go up an octave and come back. C, D minor, E minor, F major, G major, A minor, turning around, B diminished, C. Now I want a new inversion of C, and we're going to keep going. C, D minor, E minor, F. I'm going to turn around, G, A minor, B diminished, C. New inversion of C. Now we're on root position of C. D minor, E minor, all the open strings. Turn it around. F major, G major, A minor, B diminished, and then C. And now I'm back at that second inversion of our C chord. So that's one string set you can do this exercise on. We'll also be doing, and I have tabbed out as well, D, G, and B. You can also expand this further by doing the A, D, and G, and E, A, and D strings, which is definitely great for mapping the guitar. However, I find when I'm playing triads a lot of times, especially in a rhythm context, I'm sticking mostly to the D, G, and B, and G, B, and E strings. But don't skip out on those other ones. Here we go. I'm going to start on a first inversion C triad. Again, up at 14, 12, and 13, and that's going to start our exercise. C major, D minor, E minor, F major, G major, A minor, turn it around, B diminished, new inversion of C, this time root position, and now we're going to go to D minor, E minor, F, G, all open strings, turn it around, and then A minor, B diminished, C, new inversion, D minor, E minor, turn it around, F major, G major, A minor, B diminished, and then end back on C. Now, a couple of observations with this that I think are really kind of cool. As we do that pattern, we have a pattern of inversions that appears as well. So if I go back to the first part of our first exercise on the G, B, and E strings, notice we're starting in second inversion C, first inversion D minor, root position E minor. That pattern repeats. Second inversion F, first inversion G, root position A minor. Same pattern again. Second inversion B diminished, first inversion C, root position D minor, and so on and so forth. So the inversions follow a pattern as well. It's very pattern heavy. We have our major scale chord progression. Following that pattern, we've got this inversion pattern, which is less important. I think it's more important to just know that those chords exist around there. I don't really care what you call them. I sometimes visualize them coming out of the bar chords like I mentioned earlier. So this D minor is there, E from that E minor bar chord, F from maybe that chord shape or the D shape, and then same thing, G, bar chord, A minor, open chord, our bar chord, B diminished, which I think actually I see more of B diminished coming out of a G7 chord, but that might just be me. So I promise you that this exercise will help you on your journey to guitar mastery. It's helped me out a ton, and now I see triads all over the neck. You can hit the link below in the description to go download it for yourself, and then apply it to all of our other keys. I'd like to say thank you to some of my new subscribers out there. Welcome to the channel, and glad to have you along. If any of you have other great exercises for practicing your triads, let me know what they are in the comments below. If you like content like this, hit those buttons, you know where they are, and I will see you guys on the next one. Peace out.